The Realm of Unwholesome Thought of the Five Lower Fetters by Venerable Rungruang Papasaro, Dr. Rungruang Lim Chu Patapa. On top of the first round of the process of dependent origination, the mind is covered with the cloud of the world of thoughts. One of the most problematic mind conditions is its thinking process that covers up the mind activities in the first round of the process of dependent origination. Most of the times when are associated with the mind, it is concerned about our thoughts. That is, when making observations on the mind, mostly we will see the mind being busy on thinking of something or someone. In this case, the mind can be compared like a ball swinging around in different directions by the varieties of thoughts. Typically, the mind is dominated by our own thoughts in favor to what we want to be by desire and lust. Therefore, in order to have a clear study on the mind and its functions, we have to penetrate the cloud of thoughts first. As a matter of fact, on the day of Buddha enlightenment, the Buddha spent most of the early day in the morning to clean up the mind from troubling thoughts, and the Buddha admired a person to be successful in abandoning the unwholesome thoughts of the five lower fetters as the master of the courses of thought. The Buddha explained on the dynamics of mind in open space.
A mind does not stand still, but swinging around from here to there at all times.
While a signal is transmitted from one neuron to another one, a certain batch of neurotransmitter is released along the course of signal processing. A collection of neurotransmitters reflects a stream of the states of mind by a certain cause and effect, resulting a specific pattern of the process of dependent origination. The mind will change from one state to another state one at a time, just like a ball swinging in space. Each state arises as a mental phenomenon happening inside the mind, making us feel the continuity of a stream of consciousness. In traditional practice of mantra meditation, the meditation tries to freeze the movement of the mind to be stand still by dwelling the mind to subconsciousness level by force. However, this approach will not last long because the mind will become active by thinking of something else again, and then the mind will lose the concentration. The mantra meditation can be compared like trying to stop growing grass by putting a stone to block the grass. However, once the stone is taken out, the grass will grow up again. In this circumstance, the Buddha suggests to perform Buddhist meditation by making study on the mind to understand the nature of mind, so that we gain the knowledge on how to handle the mind rightly by wisdom. The Buddha made a discovery on the day of enlightenment that the object of consciousness was impermanent. It would arise and fade away within a short period of time. However, the struggling mind with desire and lust would drive the mind to proceed in the process of dependent origination for rounds and rounds, and turn the mind to be unwholesome thought. That is, in each round of the process of dependent origination, the object of consciousness will arise and fade away within a short period. However, due to the attachment of being someone to entangle with the matter, the mind generates a new signal of the internal object of consciousness in volitional formations to push the signal through the mind processing into the next round of the process of dependent origination, causing a continuity of thinking on the matter, and to drive the varieties of events and stories happening in the world of thoughts. The Buddha compared the changing mind during the mind processing to be like a monkey swinging from one vine to another vine in a jungle. As a conclusion, a thought is a continuation of volitional formations in each round of the process of dependent origination that drives on our day-to-day living. Without having a good knowledge to understand how thinking is operating, our life is dominated by our own thinking, doing whatsoever to satisfy our own desire and lust, leading to suffering in life. The realm of thinking is created by the assumption of a self and its ownership, forming up a meta-world of individuality. Clearly, the world of thinking is not real, but we all are deceived that it is real in the world of imagination. Most patients with mental illness are suffering in mental feeling that they create by themselves. As a matter of fact, there is nothing wrong with thinking because we make use of wholesome thinking in solving problems, planning, and creativity. However, by repeating on the unwholesome thinking of something unwholesome again and again, it is hazardous and only brings suffering to life. The scope of thinking is very broad because we can think of anything with no limitation. However, the Buddha classified those unwholesome thoughts into 5 types, namely the 5 lower fetters of the middle defilements, and we can define thinking in terms of its primary effect and time frame like an object moving in a space of mathematical topology in 3-dimensional coordination of x, y, z axis. The x-axis of the amount of sensual desire, love, and ill will, hate. That is, the love drives the mind to struggle, while the hate drives the mind to anger. Are the unwholesome thoughts of sensual desire. It is caused when the mind experiences with something pleasing. In this circumstance, the The mind will assume a self to be associated with such present conditions with desire and lust. Although this may seem to be no harm, however, if we let this kind of daydream to dominate a real life, we will be trapped into an illusion world, and the person will be isolated from the reality. Are the unwholesome thoughts of ill will? It is caused when the mind experiences with something uncomfortable or painful. In this circumstance, the mind will try to reject such the feeling. However, by being involved with such the pain too much, the mind becomes frustrated and turns to be angry to all surrounding conditions with ill will. The y-axis of time dimension, that is, depression, arises on something that has already happened in the past, while anxiety arises on something that may happen in the future. This indicates the targeted time when the thinking is concerned about. Are the unwholesome thoughts of depression? It is the thinking of being someone to suffer with troubling matter that was happened in the past by retrieving memories of those incidents again and again. Since the mind keeps on thinking of the past, then the mind ignores the reality of what is happening in the present moment, and the mind is trapped and struggles into the repeated loop of never-ending suffering. Are the unwholesome thoughts of restlessness or anxiety? From timeline standpoint, this is an opposite to the depression. In this circumstance, the mind will be worried of something terrible that may happen in the future. Again, the mind is trapped and struggles into the repeated loop of never-ending suffering. The z-axis of doubt. When the mind is in doubt on something, the mind will wander around, thinking without focusing and no concentration. Are the unwholesome thoughts of doubt with confusion? That is, the mind is driven by confusion of not knowing why something is happening just to me. Some questions like why this unfortunate thing just happening to me, why they take advantage and hurt on me, why there is no justice or fairness to me. These kinds of doubt will keep on stirring up the mind, turning around into troublesome and painful thoughts. In the Buddhist thinking topology, a point in space defined as the amount of love-hate a person responding to an object of consciousness in a particular time, referencing to what the thinking is about. The dynamic of unwholesome thoughts will drive the mind to struggle within the frame of 5 lower fetters. It drives the mind to be active at all times, even when sleeping as dreaming. The benefit of this knowledge is when establishing mindfulness to monitor mind conditions if there is any unwholesome thought, such as checking if there is any pleasant or unpleasant thought or not, if still thinks of something in the past or future or not, and if there is any doubt on anything or not. After the mind is completely cleansed from unwholesome thoughts, then the mind is in seclusion and dwell to the right concentration.